Welcome to Pod Me If You Can, I'm David Farrell. Today's film is Satisfaction, starring Justine Bateman, Liam Neeson, and Julia Roberts in her first film credit.
Pardon Me If You Can, movie reviews.
The band Mystery is made up of Jenny, played by Justine Bateman, who's a straight-A student and class president, Billy, played by Britta Phillips, who's a spacey stoner and occasional thief, Mooch, played by Trini Alvarado, who's a street-smart rebel, recently back on the streets, and Daryl, played by Julia Roberts, who's described by another character as a slut, though maybe a love addict might be a better way to look at her. Together, their band want to spend the summer playing and seeing what they can do. They've just finished school, and along for the ride is their new keyboard player, Nikki. They meet Martin Falcon, played by Liam Neeson, by breaking into his home and eventually get the gig as a summer band at his bar by the beach. The love interests are quickly set up with Mooch and Nikki, and Martin and Jenny, but will the band get that coveted European tour spot that Martin is offering? And are they even ready for that kind of fame? Now, the original VHS probably didn't feature Julia Roberts quite so heavily. Justine Bateman was the star. Being a TV star at the time, on Family Ties, she would have been the reason this film was made. As I said, this is Julia Roberts' first screen credit. However, she does steal the scene a lot, and, retrospectively packaging this, you can see the DVD with Julia Roberts sells more. She's featured very prominently without the other bandmates on the cover. So Mystery are basically a cover band. They play songs like Knock on Wood, Mr. Big Stuff, and Satisfaction, famously by the Rolling Stones. The local kids are preppy kids in sweaters, they have beach houses for the summer, and they think maybe that they can hook up with some of the girls in the band. There's a really fun vibe to this film, they're playing songs every now and again, and it's like a girl power kind of band. The film also borders on the ridiculous. On a show like X Factor, when you're watching auditions and the contestant starts singing and 10 seconds in everyone's like, whoa, this person's really good, when they've only just kind of stayed in tune. Here the crowds think that they're the best band ever in about 45 seconds. The only male in the band really sinks into the background. He's necessary because they need a keyboard player. However, Nikki, who's basically there for Mooch, whose name is never actually explained why she's called Mooch. He's a very two-dimensional character, unfortunately. The first time we see him, he's playing classical music and casually drops his entire summer's worth of plans to go on tour with the band, and has no trouble learning any of their songs. Now, the film features a fairly prominent instrument, the cowbell. Jenny uses it a couple of times on screen, and I can't see a cowbell without thinking of Will Ferrell's famous SNL skit featuring Christopher Walken, where he's gotta have more cowbell. Nobody wears a bra in this film, which is the style of the 80s, and because it's Julia Roberts' first film, she smiles her famous smile, and you can see that she's a star on the rise. This is a great audition for her, although she's not very good at playing an instrument or pretending to play an instrument in the background. Justine Bateman has been heavily criticised online for her singing, but I didn't think it was that bad. Within the context of the story, she's supposed to be amazing, when she's only okay, and it's hard to believe that they'd be offered a European tour on the strength of being this cover band as well. There's a very odd slapstick volleyball game, very randomly within the film, and all the footage is sped up. You get the feeling they didn't want to edit the scene down, they needed to keep every moment of it. But they play it in fast forward with this saloon music, and it just comes across as really stupid. The major letdown of this film is that it feels pretty limited. Not that much really happens, and few of the characters go through any dramatic changes. It's like a summer romance, it's sort of fleeting and temporarily around. Liam Neeson is fairly solid as the character of Martin Falcon. He's an alcoholic who lost his wife, and he's uninspired. He used to write songs, but finds a new muse in Jenny. And it does sort of feel like, however, she's pursuing him romantically because there's a lack of other good candidates. He does say at one point that he went after her as well because she was there. It's like a matter of convenience. Liam Neeson apparently, in real life, has never seen this film before, so he still hasn't watched his performance in Satisfaction. When Julia Roberts became famous in Pretty Woman in 1990, They rebranded the film for TV as Girls of Summer and used her in the promos saying before she was a pretty woman, she was one of the girls of summer. I feel like the film wasn't successful. It did bomb. It wasn't successful because no real choices were made. Nobody gets pregnant despite all the sex scenes. Nobody gets married despite many proposals. No one dies despite the drugs ingested and the overdose scene. And no one becomes famous despite all the promises of this European tour. The feeling is that you've just watched a bunch of stuff happen, none of which was particularly funny like a comedy, or particularly dramatic like a drama, and it's not even a romantic comedy either. This one's really for the big fans of Julia Roberts, to see her early curves and her early smile and her early work on screen. Her acting is just pretty solid. Liam Neeson's pretty good if you're a big fan of him. Allegedly, Julia Roberts was dating Liam Neeson during this film, so it might be good to watch for their chemistry as well. You can find more from us at our YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe, or at podmeifyoucan.com.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.